Welcome to the factory floor, the very birthplace of one of the world's most beloved chocolate bars, Twix. Today, we're taking you deep inside the production line to reveal exactly how a Twix is created. From a simple biscuit strip to a caramel-filled, chocolate-coated masterpiece, we'll break down the entire process, share some fun facts you've probably never heard, and maybe even settle the score on what makes Twix so uniquely addictive. So, let's find out how left and right Twix really come to life, and if they're different at all. Before we hit the production floor, let's rewind the clock with a little history. Twix was first introduced way back in 1967 in the United Kingdom. But for a long time, it wasn't called Twix in many European countries. Itoak non as rede, the name a mix of the words twin sticks, which perfectly describes the iconic double bars. And what about that famous left Twix versus right Twix rivalry? Well, that was a brilliant and playful marketing campaign, not because the bars are actually made differently. Spoilers, they come from the exact same production line. But hey, we'll let the debate continue. Every single Twix bar starts with its signature, crisp biscuit base. In massive industrial mixers, simple ingredients are blended together: flour, sugar, vegetable oil, water, and just a pinch of salt. The goal is to create a dough that's firm but not too dry. This dough is then pressed into long, wide sheets and fed through a series of rollers that flatten it into a perfectly even layer. Once it's the right, cut into long, narrow strip, each Twix bar. These strips then travel along conveyor belts into enormous tunnel ovens. Inside these ovens, the biscuits are baked at precisely controlled temperatures until they turn that perfect, crispy, golden brown. Here's a fun fact. Twix biscuits are baked for just the right amount of time to ensure they keep their crunch, even after being smothered in caramel and chocolate. The texture is literally engineered to stay crisp for months on the shelf. After cooling down, the freshly baked biscuit strips move on to the caramel station, and this is where things get really exciting. Twix caramel is made by carefully heating milk, sugar, and butter until it reaches a smooth, stretchy, and gooey consistency. The caramel has to be thick enough to sit proudly on top of the biscuit, but soft enough to melt in your mouth. As the biscuit strips pass under a row of caramel nozzles, a warm ribbon of golden caramel is drizzled across the top of each one. The amount is always perfectly measured. If there's too much, the bar could collapse. Too little, and you lose that signature Twix chew. Another fun fact for you: a single Twix factory line can use hundreds of liters of caramel every single hour. Once they're coated, the bars travel through a cooling tunnel where the caramel firms up just enough to hold its shape for the next step. Now, it's time for what many people consider the best part: the chocolate bath. Twix is covered in a special blend of milk chocolate made from cocoa, sugar, and milk ingredients. The bars glide onto a metal grate conveyor belt and pass through a literal waterfall of flowing, liquid chocolate. Every single bar is completely drenched from top to bottom and side to side. Any excess chocolate drips down through the grate, where it's collected, filtered, and reused to avoid any waste. Here's another amazing fact: each Twix bar receives a nearly identical chocolate layer thanks to advanced flow control systems developed by Mars, the company that makes Twix. After their chocolate bath, the bars travel through one more cooling tunnel. Here, the chocolate sets into that smooth, glossy finish you know and love. By the time the bars exit this tunnel, they look exactly like the Twix you'd find on a store shelf. But not every bar makes the cut. Every single Twix goes through a series of strict quality checks. The factories use high-speed cameras that can spot even the tiniest imperfections, like uneven caramel, small cracks in the biscuit, or too much chocolate dripping from the sides. Human inspectors also pull batches to check them for flavor, crunch, and size, making sure everything is consistent. A cool fact here is that Twix bars are even tested for their snap quality. That satisfying sound the bar makes when you break it in half is actually a quality standard they measure. Up until this point, the Twix bars are still in those long, continuous biscuit caramel chocolate strips. But now, a high-speed cutter slices the long bars into their familiar twin lengths. Each strip instantly becomes two identical bars, creating that iconic Twix duo. From here, the bars move side by side down the line, ready for packaging. A fun tidbit: while some markets do sell single-bar Twix versions, the classic pair packaging remains one of the most recognizable candy designs in the entire world. Next up is the wrapping stage, and it happens incredibly fast. Twix bars are placed into their wrappers by precise robotic arms. The classic gold and red foil packaging is then heat-sealed, which ensures freshness and protects the chocolate from moisture and temperature changes. After that, the individual bars are packed into boxes, cases, and finally, shipping crates. A single Twix factory can wrap over 1,000 bars every minute. Once they're all boxed up, the Twix bars are loaded onto pallets and shipped all over the world. Mars operates Twix production facilities in several different countries to ensure a fresh supply across continents. Here's a smart fact: in many countries, Twix is actually produced locally. This helps avoid the chocolate melting during long distance transport and also maintains a consistent taste for customers in different regions. While the classic Twix is definitely the most famous, the brand has explored a lot of creative variations over the years. You might have seen some of these, like Twix peanut butter, Twix white chocolate, Twix dark, Twix cookies and cream, Twix salted caramel, and even Twix ice cream bars. Some of these are limited editions, some are only sold in certain regions, and some have sparked huge fan followings. Fun fact: Twix peanut butter was almost discontinued back in the early 2000s. But passionate fan petitions actually brought it back to the shelves. En of course, no deep dive into Twix would be complete without addressing the legendary left Twix versus right Twix debate. Cutting to commercials, left Twix smooth caramel, then Twix chocolate. While right Twix has cascaded caramel on a crisp cookie and is cloaked in chocolate. So, is there really a difference? Officially, no. They come from the same factories, the same machines, and the same recipe. But the debate keeps fans engaged and talking, and it remains one of the most successful and playful marketing campaigns in candy history. So there you have it, the complete journey of a Twix bar. It starts as simple biscuit dough, gets a ribbon of caramel, goes through a waterfall of chocolate, and ends up in that shiny wrapper. It's a combination of baking, engineering, chocolate, craftsmanship, and a little bit of marketing magic that makes Twix stand out in the world of chocolate bars. Whether you're a die-hard left Twix fan or you swear by right Twix, one thing is for sure: the process behind every single bar is a delicious blend of science and art. Thanks so much for watching. Which Twix is your favorite? And did any of these facts surprise you? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes looks at how your favorite foods are made. See you next time.